today. And this is not my channel, but we're trying today. So just Elitom. I don't even know if I'm live or if I'm not. This is my first time. Let's see. Okay. I'm waiting on Elitom. Hey, I'm waiting on Elitom and I'm still figuring out how to go live on YouTube. This is my first time, so let's see. I see maybe one person is there, but I don't know if I'm even live. Let's see. How do we do this? Hmm. Let's see. I wait one more minute and then I'll send him a link. Oh, there we go.
All
Look at
right,
that. Yes.
here we are.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wow. Okay. This is my first time live on YouTube, by the way.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
this is the first time for everything. This is good.
Yeah. Ooh. So happy belated. Was your birthday?
Oh, so it's your birthday too, huh?
No, it's your
Oh,
birthday. Or
oh,
maybe it is.
ah, this
Ah,
is good. Every day is a birthday.
absolutely. Absolutely. So what's your
All
secret
right.
of getting younger and younger?
Oh, absolutely. All right, so here we go for some good live. All right, it's been a while since we've been saying we was gonna contact and hook up, and this is it.
Yeah, this is it. I love your background.
Oh well, thank you. Oh man, this is a beautiful green place here in Uganda.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's a lot of green, huh?
Oh man, this is good. The weather's perfect. Everything's perfect.
Wow.
And this
Wow.
is good for the solar breatharian journey, especially for myself. Even though the whole world has the radiation coming from the sun, giving it life, near the equator is just a bigger frequency because the equator bulges outwards. So it just has another frequency coming from the sun. So when
Wow.
you know these different techniques, especially dealing with meditation and energy cultivation, oh,
Mhm.
this really speeds stuff up for
Hmm.
myself.
Wow. I've always had something for Uganda. I've never been there, but it's like something in my heart that tells me like, go to Uganda, go to Uganda. My family is from Ethiopia, but it's
Right.
just that is pushing me to Uganda, and I
Oh
would love
yeah.
that. Wow.
And I see a lot of Ethiopians here. So this
Oh
is a
wow.
pretty good place. Yeah. All over the place.
Okay. So you do you know the differences how Africans can look different, depending on where in Africa they are from now?
Oh, absolutely. Now, the make it make sense so it won't sound spooky. There's
Mhm.
times I'll go from one country to another, Now there was a time that, how should I say, that boundary wasn't there because we could say boundaries are man-made.
Mhm.
However, you actually do feel and see a frequency shift. Now, a lot of it could come from language,
Mhm.
because depending on the language you speak, it shapes the bones of your face. See, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know this. So when you got an eye for it, see, I could even travel through Asia and know the difference between the Chinese and the Korean and the Japanese because I spent time there. But the
Mhm.
same with Europe. Same with Europe, and you got to have an eye to see it. You can
Yeah.
see people change in frequency just from language to start out with, but it
Mhm.
also goes deeper with culture, ethnic group. So it shapes the face, the bone structure, everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I know
Sort of
that.
like,
I know that.
speaking a second language changed the neuroplasticity of the brain. So every
Mhm.
habit you have brings a new frequency to the body.
Yeah. I believe that because I really believe that. Now I'm in Minnesota, and it's a lot of people from Ethiopia and Somalia here. But I grew up in Europe, and when they see me, they know I'm different. Just by
Right, right.
seeing, they just know I'm different. And I'm like, I'm
That's
wearing
possible.
your clothes, I'm wearing the cultural clothes and everything, and still they would just point out, they're like, you westernized, and I'm like, where.
Ah, and that's true. Yeah, that's the power of it.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
culture and everything changes your mind, changes your frequency. That's why it's so key when you start challenging your belief systems if you really want to make a change. See,
mhm,
every habit has a belief behind it, why a person is doing it. And every habit, if we judge it as good or bad, the
mhm,
person is doing it because of the benefit it's given them.
mm,
Oh, that's
yeah,
wild, ain't
yeah, wow,
it?
wow.
So on
You can
this
really change.
breatharian journey, yeah, a person is going into a deep exploration,
Mhm,
finding out what their beliefs are and dealing with those habits because they run really really deep, and it
mm,
goes way beyond food, way
yeah,
beyond that.
yeah,
But
way
it will
before.
lead you back in full circle.
Mhm, mhm,
So this is why this is so key.
wow.
Now, one thing I found out, there's a word called psychosis. And what I see a lot of people suffering from, especially coming on the breatharian journey, because it will reveal it, is
Mhm,
spiritual psychosis. And
wow.
psychosis is basically, how should I say, that's when a person has a lot of mental factors going on
Mhm,
that will disconnect them from reality.
mm,
In other
oh,
words, oh yeah, and we've been taught, it ain't human entities fall on a lot of things. We've been taught that spirituality supposed to disconnect you from reality. But
mm,
that hurts you in the long run because it goes into delusion.
yeah,
Even
ignorant.
when we tell our spiritual experiences, whoever can outdo the other person by upping the ante, and the more delusional it gets, and the more out of contact of reality it gets, and that's what people seek and think, and that's what spirituality is.
Mhm,
But
mhm,
when you come on a solar breatharian journey, it will take you into reverse.
mm,
It'll go reverse because it's going to start breaking up those delusions so
mhm,
that you can see reality down to earth. And that's what I think a lot of people scared of, that type of reality.
yeah.
Oh,
Wow, wow. Yeah, I can really relate to that because it's a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are neglecting reality, you know?
yeah,
You can't choose one over the other. It's like you need to find that balance in everything, right?
right. It will get mad at you when you don't want to believe that way.
Yeah. I know. I
And
know.
we got a big thing now dealing with science to now space don't exist, gravity don't exist. Where do people get this from? But yet and still they're using it every day, using the greatest technology on the planet. And you can't even argue with a mind like that.
People want to run away. Like it's the same thing. Like when people are depressed, they want to slip away from the reality. So it's normal, like human thing to do that, to just run away from everything or make up some stuff. Just do
Oh,
not exist,
absolutely.
you know?
Or, and like I said, everybody got affected a little bit, some just more than others. Even myself, I remember way back, and I'm not picking on the church or
Yeah.
anything, my
Right.
health was getting bad, and I'm sitting up there really trying to pray to get cured, not realizing that it was from my own habits, and all I got to do is quit my habits and deal with my foolishness.
I know.
But that's spiritual psychosis.
Oh my god, I know. It's like, "Fix me, please fix me," and then you go to the plate, and then you eat it, and then you, "Please fix me."
Oh yeah, this is something. Now
Yeah.
on the breatharian journey, what do this got to do with it? Usually, when a person does come in, they are dealing with some type of level of psychosis.
Mhm.
They're waiting for if I could just hold on. I'm gonna connect up with the divine, connect with God. The angel's gonna come get me. People still think with that frame of mind, or if I believe hard enough, it can happen. And I'm like, no, you got work to do. You got to transform the vehicle. It's a mess. I'm telling you, this is what I'm observing. And you know me, just having this message and carrying the ball with it, I draw all types of people, and I'll be looking at where did this person come from? Looking at this mind. But
Mhm.
it's understandable. There's different levels of degrees of this sickness. It's a virus.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
I
my
have to
god.
walk them slowly and gradually.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah,
takes some training to get rid of this mental virus.
yeah.
That's what's disconnecting the mind from the body right there. But it's way beyond a belief and ain't got nothing to do with that. And when I bring the word science up, people get scared of it. And all it means is knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I got to explain to them what they're doing, what they're meditating, how to cultivate the energy. It's just like, but that's where we at right now.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
strong spiritual psychosis taking place.
Yeah, and then some people will actually think, okay, this is how I'm supposed to meditate, and then they wait for a result. But that's a distraction. It's like you
Hmm.
have to just be. This is a lifestyle. This is something that you just have to be, and it's like cleansing yourself and just going on with your day. But people will
Exactly.
say, "Okay, if I sit still enough, the magic is going to happen." How can I
Exactly.
be breatharian in a one day? I'm like, oh my god.
Do I let go now?
Yeah,
It's like this is a lifestyle.
absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
Oh man, this is deep. But
Yeah. Wow.
but the breatharian journey, it's a good one if a person stick with it. It's one of the best things around because it start making you gain more responsibility. So that's what
Mhm.
people are scared of. That's why I feel like it's easier to disconnect from reality or blame other things and other people.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it
Absolutely.
all boils back down to the person again.
Yeah. You got to do the
No,
work.
no demons attacking you. No,
Yeah. No, nobody's coming after you. You got to save yourself from yourself.
right,
That's
right. The government don't care about you. They're not spying on you to put something in
exactly.
your apples. I mean, come on. It's really serious.
Nobody's after you. I always tell people, you have to save yourself from yourself because you're making up too many things all the time. Like, how do I
All the
do
time.
this? Why do I do this? And I did this and I did wrong. Oh my God, I ate this. Oh my God, I did this. So what?
Right,
Just,
right.
yeah, work with yourself. It's just a journey. You have a whole lifetime to do
Hmm.
this, right? So, yeah, it's the mind, Elitom. It is the mind.
Oh man,
It
believe
is.
me, I heard some stories,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
it still goes on. So I just look at it, but you just got to be patient.
Hmm.
You just keep
Hmm.
working with people or
Yeah.
working with yourself, basically, and be the example. Yeah, but
Exactly.
this spiritual psychosis, somebody at least have to bring it to them to reveal it, to
Uh-huh.
say that's what you're dealing with,
Yeah.
delusion. And
Exactly.
this, because your mind is like, if you trapped in it, you probably can't see it at first.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
easier to see it in others than to see it in yourself.
Hmm. Hmm. No, I know. But like you said, also you have to be good at, looking at people and seeing what level they are on.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That's the main thing stopping them, these delusions.
Yeah,
Oh, man. And,
absolutely.
and there's, like I said, there's some people have different degrees than others. Like if you got somebody who ain't got it that bad, you can work with them a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Hmm.
can't cure yourself from it. About 50% of the people can. But
Hmm.
there is some people, and I ain't trying to, put nobody down or nothing, but they're too far gone.
Hmm.
It's sort of like being overeducated on something, and we need something. We need a mind that's more cleaned up.
Hmm. I
That's
know
got
what
too
you mean.
much in it.
Yeah.
The
I
delusion
know
is
what
too
you mean.
strong. Yeah.
There are some people that stop consuming food. But then they start consuming, words and ideas and everything. And
Oh man.
same thing when you clock up here.
And that's where the confusion is at. That's why I try to stay away from certain words like enlightenment, divine, soul. People using these words because it's in the language. That's what
Mhm.
whoever could talk it the best, the poetry. I'm spiritual. But
Yeah,
yet still we got to break that so we could get really to the core of the thought.
yeah,
And reshape things. That's the only way that's going to do it. But
yeah.
this solar breatharian journey, that's why I put solar on the front of it. Because
Mhm,
we all know there's a sun right there. Come
mhm,
on now.
mhm,
And
mhm,
people still fight against that too because this energy can't be the sun because their mind been trapped a certain way.
mhm.
Or prana is something different. I'm trying to connect with prana, and that was just an ancient word uh, dealing with the same energy we're talking now, but they can't see it at first. I'm serious.
I know what you mean. And
I've been to places where I did a whole lecture, big ones in Romania and Italy.
Mhm,
And after I got done, I just used different wording, but people were still asking questions because they wanted to hear words like chakras,
mhm.
prana. They needed to hear those words, and I just used another word, and they couldn't make the connection. So
Mhm.
therefore, I guess I'm not enlightened.
Yeah.
It didn't meet to what they was expecting. This is a
Yeah.
serious situation,
Yeah. The problem is
but
the expectation.
oh yeah, but it's coming on though, slowly and surely. People appreciate it. They breaking off that sickness, and you're dealing with basically a technology, a
Mhm.
human technology. Is
Absolutely.
basically what it is. We're using this body as an antenna, a dipole antenna. We're
Mhm,
showing them how to make different energetic connections in the body. And
mhm.
that is going to be the nourishment. You got to deal with this bioelectricity, dealing with your atmosphere, all of this, but you got to walk people into it. Don't
Yeah.
overdo it. Don't go too fast. Develop yourself. And you
Mhm,
can make this energy grow.
mhm.
That's the thing about it, too. And it takes a period of time to make something grow. A baby just didn't come out of the womb with a full beard, walking and talking. I mean,
That was the process, right? Oh my God. Well, one thing, Elitom, if people want to heal, why don't they want the process? Well, they're scared of the process if they want to heal.
oh man, well, this goes back to responsibility again.
Hmm.
Because that responsibility will make you look at yourself and you
Hmm.
really can't throw it off on nobody else or a situation no more.
Hmm. Okay.
I mean, this is a big one.
Okay. So this is on you, so you don't want to take the blame.
You don't want to take the blame. We're
Wow.
good at putting it off on somebody else or something.
But that's when you
Like
really.
right now, like right now, dealing with the psychosis is this woman who just had to recognize her financial situation is her situation.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
did it. The system didn't do it, even though, but she was hiding behind that because of the responsibility of what she needed to be doing. But yet,
Hmm.
still, she's hiding behind spirituality
Wow.
and giving people advice
Wow.
on how to live, but got all these problems. Yeah, but this
Oh
goes on
yeah.
all the time.
Wow. So it's like you're directing it outwards, but then when you come home or to yourself, you are in that prison. You can't even
You
get
in the
out.
prison.
You want to help other people get out of prison. That's why I tell people don't preach. You have to just be the message. If you
Just be
want,
the message.
yeah, you have to be the message. It's
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it's so difficult to convey one message to so many different individuals, like with different minds. So when you just
Hmm.
message, whoever that picks up on it, they pick up on it. Like I don't
Right.
code stuff. And people will come back maybe like 6 months later and say, "Oh my God, now I understand what you're talking about." You know?
Right.
And the idea, they look at it, I just leave them on with the idea. But
Repetition.
yeah, wow.
Because how should we say it? They say physical. Your thoughts is the first phase of physical matter. Now that's spooky. It
Hmm.
just we know what we can measure it now. We got MRI machines and we can see things firing off in the brain. So if it got mass and we can see it, we can measure it. So
Hmm.
this isn't getting spooky again. We walking people into it like that. So
Hmm.
again, when you carrying a certain energy and it's firing off a certain way,
Hmm.
that's what that's why we say that's what creates your reality, your
Mm,
belief.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
the universe don't care about your belief.
Hmm.
This is a whole other ball game.
I know that.
It's just that real. That's why we're just trying to bring people back into reality,
Mhm.
because there's a saying that says your belief in your habits will be destroyed when you're gone.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you can hold on to it if you want to. That's the thing that's going to be that's going to take you out of here.
Yeah.
So, however, going back to this message again, we want to keep. And I ain't picking on nobody else, even me. I have
Mhm.
to constantly keep working on my belief. Where
Yeah.
do I get that from?
Yeah.
Let me dig deeper with it,
Mhm.
because all knowledge is given on the surface.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
hope that if that make any sense,
It
it's
makes sense.
given on the surface.
Yeah.
So that's why when we even talk about this message, I don't even use the word food freedom,
Mhm.
because what happens is you do need an energy source where energy beings.
Mhm.
See, the reason why a person eat is because food is energy,
Mhm.
or you
Mhm.
wouldn't eat. But you're
Mhm.
just going to a more subtle force,
Mhm.
but it's still a force you must connect
Mhm.
with a lifestyle and consistency consistently. But
Mhm.
when we use those play on words, food freedom, people ain't hooking up strong enough with the subtle forces, but they're
Mhm.
trying to let go of the other
Mhm.
fuel source that been keeping you alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
So that's like you driving your car until it ran out of gas. Okay,
Yeah.
you fasted, but you ran out of gas.
Yes.
Now what?
Yeah. I know. I know. It's ridiculous. Or some people. It's the food is not the enemy. You know. The food is
Right.
not the enemy. It's the mindset of it. It's how
It's the
people.
mindset.
Yeah. So it's not. So some people want to put like food in this little corner here, and then they lock the door, and they will sit there and God, like I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. And you can't live like that. You know, it's like you have the food needs to let go of you. You need to understand what food is, right?
Can't live like that, right?
So you have to
It,
understand, and it's
and then all that do is create more problems down the line, binge eating, um, food disorders, all
mhm,
this stuff come out. A
mhm,
person gained more weight than they had before and they don't know what happened. And I said,
mhm,
because you got to slow up and understand what this is about. So we got to go back to the basics. The
yeah,
basics must be strong, and breaking these old belief systems have to go. Oh my gosh, like I
yeah,
said, it's sad even though it's comical.
yeah. I
But
have,
everybody been infiltrated with it.
yeah, I have. Listen, I have seen like fruitarians, or whatever that for food does, or anything. Like it's just not my. I don't
And
even
what
like to talk
Tyrion
about
did you say?
fruitarian. I've heard
Oh
about
my
that.
gosh.
Yeah, and it's like you overconsume fruits now.
Right,
You drink.
right.
I've seen liquiditarian. You drink too much now.
You
You
drink
know,
too
it's the
much now.
same problem. You know, you consume. It's like that's why I always say don't consume. Try to connect with it. You know, understand this is an apple. What is this
Right,
apple? You know, like just analyze it before you just like
right.
apple, put it into your mouth. Just analyze it. What is this? You know,
What
and then
is it?
that way you won't consume it. But like
Hmm.
vegetarian, vegan, this, whatever you become, if you don't change the mind, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Oh
Mhm,
my gosh. I'm glad you brought that
mhm,
one up. So there's a lot that the human being got to work on, because the body is telling the story.
mhm,
Not only this is a book telling you where you at now, it also tell you where you come from.
mhm. Absolutely, absolutely.
So most mammals do have a mouth, a stomach, and an anus to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So right there, even on a level of, I had to correct a woman. She was on a level where, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to be eating. But I said, but your body is saying otherwise.
Mhm,
So what
mhm,
we want to do is now take you from there. And this is why they keep talking about a transformation
mhm,
or transcendent nature.
mhm.
In other words, you're taking part in your evolution. So now evolution becomes real, because there's people that's in denial of evolution. And
Mhm.
yet still your body's telling a story. You can't lie once you can read it. You got the same pores, number of pores in your skin, just like an ape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, definitely, your body is telling a story, and that's why it's important to listen to it. You know, that's why when people regret, when they eat something and they start regretting, the problem is the energy of that regret that you created. The
Oh,
problem
here
is
we
the
go
food
again.
that you ate, but the regret and the thing that you made up in your mind, that's going to eat you up.
Oh, absolutely. Because, like we said, those thoughts again, these emotions, we're
Mhm.
full of emotions.
Mhm.
All of that's bringing in factors
Mhm.
or where you at energetically. You're either
Mhm.
going to lose energy or gain more energy.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to really control this. The
Yeah.
mind is very, very powerful. And this is what this is all about. The physical body is just taking orders. Wherever
Yeah.
the consciousness goes, the body going to follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. For example, when I feel tired, you know, or like, I don't have so much energy, the first thing I think about is run, you know,
Right.
or do some push-ups or something to just create. But for me to think like go and sleep or go and eat, those two things just there's no wire there. I
Oh,
feel
absolutely.
tired, I feel like go and work out, do some push-ups, just like to get that energy. I need to create the energy, right?
Create the energy. I'm glad how you said that. Our bodies do generate
Mm-hmm.
energy or bioelectricity. So
Mm-hmm.
even that word energy, like I said, uh, all knowledge is given on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do classes and walk people into what we mean by energy.
Uh-huh.
So it won't sound spooky no more. How it transforms itself from one form to another. So
Mm-hmm.
we're walking people through it. And
Mm-hmm.
again, this physical body, which is energy, just at a denser level, because we're food to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's just that real.
Yeah, it is real. You're in Africa and I go to the jungle, you have food there.
Yeah, you are food.
Yeah.
Oh man, all over the place. But going back to this, we got to walk people into this again. Which,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, those who stick on the journey and really start getting these teachings on that type of level,
Mm-hmm.
because you are learning about biology,
Mm-hmm.
you're learning about chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
you're learning about the atmosphere around you. Yeah, how your
Mm-hmm.
body's relating to it,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
biosphere, and all this other stuff. What does that mean? I even did a whole teaching one time. I was using the word photons. And
Mm-hmm.
there was spiritual teachers there too, quote unquote. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what photons was. They had to go look it up.
Wow. Wow.
What
Yeah,
is light?
study, yeah.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh, but this is where we at. So we
mhm,
can take all the spookiness out of spirituality.
mhm,
And to give you an example, one time we was at this vortex,
mhm,
the energy's flowing in a vortex. And when I seen the spiritual people explain what that energy was, it was again, I had to bring it down to earth. No, this is how the air pressure is going in this direction. This is why you feel it as energy or pick it up. You got to break it down to people that these
mhm,
things, we're in an age now where it
mhm,
can be explained.
mhm, absolutely.
We could explain it at a whole different level. Even
Mhm,
got machines now that can help, with this journey.
mhm.
The spots. So it ain't a belief.
They have a
We
machines
are going, huh?
they have machines that can help us with this journey, you said?
Oh yeah. I mean, we can measure, like I said, an MRI machine.
Oh, yes, yes,
It
okay.
could actually see the electricity firing off in your brain. We didn't
Mhm,
have that before. You didn't know that. So when
yeah.
people say clear their mind with no thought, what are you talking about? It's always firing off with
Yeah,
electricity. It's always in movement. What do you mean?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. How
Ah,
can I stop my thoughts? How can I stop thinking?
now we
How
can
can I
slow them down and observe them. See, that
Mhm,
makes more sense down to earth. Because if you don't know that, you'll be in a cycle trying to get rid of all your thoughts, and it's never going to happen. Who have
yeah,
done it?
yeah. I used to do that when I was 7.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm like, "I can't stop thinking, I can't stop thinking." Every time I try, I'll be thinking about stop thinking, stop thinking, stop thinking. I'm still thinking,
yeah.
you
You're
know?
still
It's
thinking.
still yeah, it's still there. So you
So
can't
it's
stop.
little things like that that we're challenging now. And I know, and again, if a
Mhm,
person been in a spiritual doctrine too long, it's hard for them to break that for number one, or they
mhm.
get mad at you for not believing it.
Wow. Yeah. Then you know
So
what
this is what we're dealing with. Tradition.
yeah. That tells you what level the person is.
It'll tell you the level.
Yeah.
Instead of and I even say to people sometimes we at a level where you should, where we at now, you should be energetically a lot more smarter than somebody in the past.
Mm.
That's no put down. They did their job at that time and left some good stuff. But I
Mhm,
don't mean you got to take everything they gave out. Half of
mhm,
them died prematurely and young.
mhm.
We
Wow.
might as well admit it.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow that path. The blind follow the blind. You both gonna fall in the ditch.
Yeah, you have to extract it and take whatever that resonates with you. You know?
Yeah, that was at that time, and
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, because a lot of these spiritual writings basically come from a group of people living in the desert
Mm.
thousands of years ago. They like they knew the whole world.
Yeah. No, no. I like how you move around in the cities. You're like everywhere. It's not like you're trying to be this monk somewhere in the up in the mountains, you know?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's all energy. You got to know how to work your platform in both places. Half of the
mhm.
people act like they want to be the monk up in the mountains, and I've been to those places. But
Mhm.
number one, there ain't that many people up there, and they ain't living the lifestyle you think they are.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Those was books again we read. I
Yeah.
want to be this, and you ain't gonna even like it no way.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to live both lifestyles. They're both exciting. These
Mhm.
cities we got now, they're exciting.
Mhm.
Energy's all over the place. It just depends on what type of people you hang with. It's a many different levels, a lot
Absolutely.
going on.
Mhm. And I
There's
think
many layers within it.
yeah. I think it's very important to understand every human mind, like everything is kind of like mind. So if you're in the cities, like you in Africa right now, you went to India, you went to different places, that expands your awareness. And this whole
Oh,
journey is about expanding your awareness, you know?
big time.
So sitting in the mountain, I don't know what kind of expansion that's going to happen. I can sit still here and then my mind can go off and I can think of different things. But just like analyzing another person, somebody else is asking me a question. So I'm asking a question. Or just like analyzing someone that expands my awareness.
Oh, absolutely. See, we're social creatures.
Mm-hmm.
We as humans wouldn't have made it this far if we didn't stick together.
Yeah, I believe that.
It wasn't like people in ancient times just living by themselves and
Mm-mm.
And it still ain't like that. We might as well be clear. Like I said, I've been to the Himalayas twice.
Yeah.
They coming down asking for food and everything else. So it's just people.
It's just people that, I feel like that's like being scared somehow because, like you said, we are social creatures and we really need to socialize. And it's in the relationship, you find all of that.
And it helps you to grow. Yeah.
Mhm.
I got a
Absolutely.
friend right now who they got that mind because they are Buddhism, you know, to stick from the pack and stick from the pack and but
Hmm.
every time you see them, we're advancing in a way because we're feeding each other, and
Hmm.
by them being alone, their mind is so slow on trying to
Mm.
catch up. And I say, oh, that's it right there. But you
Mm.
do need that balance because I play two worlds.
Yeah.
Like next week, I'll be back on the island again, you know, more in to nature.
Hmm.
But even though, again, there's still people there, I just have
Yeah.
a lot more time with myself compared to where I'm at now. But you're growing, and just
Hmm.
to pick one over the other and say this is it, you could
Absolutely.
be doing yourself a great disservice.
Absolutely. I feel like, if I need to go by myself somewhere in nature as well, I'm not saying like neglect that. I do go there and I charge. It's just a different charge. And
Yeah,
then back in the city is like, you are giving away some energy somehow. It's not like you're charging as much, but you
right.
have enough energy to just use it. It's like
Oh
your
man,
currency.
it's awesome.
Yeah. It's like a
And
currency.
especially when you learn how to use this body again, because even when we say the word city,
Hmm.
we just leave it as that. But you remember I said there's many different layers on it.
Yeah.
And to give you an example, I remember one time I was on a plane going to the Canary Islands,
Hmm.
and I was sitting next to this person, but we got two different thoughts
Hmm.
on what we expect to get out of the island.
Okay.
Now it's one island, we're going to the same place, but we got two different thoughts for two different people. The
Hmm.
one was looking for the party life, you know, and
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then me, I was looking for more of the holistic lifestyle. So when we got to the island, we both found those frequencies on the same island.
Yeah. I believe that. I believe that. Everywhere I go,
Whatever you're looking for, that's where your mind going to lead you to. But that group is there.
yeah, I know. I know, absolutely. I came to Minnesota. When I'm in California, people think like I'm in nature all the time and I'm in these farms and stuff. And my sister always says like that's California. But when I came to Minnesota, I found the farms. I was sitting
Right,
in the
right.
same places. It was the same areas, like the same things. And she said, "You find them here too? I've never seen them." And I said, "It was behind your house, just right there behind your house. There's a
Here we
big
go.
farm." Mhm. But
Right, right.
yeah,
So it
so
all depends on the person again on what you're looking for.
yeah,
And
it's
you'll
the
find it.
hmm
People gonna bring their culture, their habitats, and everything else with them.
Mhm. Mhm. It's just being
So,
conscious about it, really. What if you don't have that, awareness? Like, would the universe just serve you whatever when you land on the island?
or you create it. I
Mm.
remember when I was first started this journey, I was in Akron, Ohio, in America, and I went and built a community center so I can exercise my thought.
Mhm.
I'll create the meditation center,
Okay.
and I'll draw the people that's there.
Mhm. Absolutely. I
It
believe that.
wasn't there before until I put it there, but it got there.
Yeah. It was supposed to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're creating. If it ain't there, you put it there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everything else
Oh,
is also created, right?
say again.
I say everything else is also just created. Why not? Why not just create that environment for yourself as well?
Oh yeah, I mean we're good at creating stuff. The human beings see we got these manipulative minds. Now, when I say that, that don't mean bad. That
Mhm.
just means that we are good at manipulating energies.
Yeah.
In other words, transform them. This is why we create things.
Mhm.
We're one
Mhm.
of the main animals on the planet that not only we traveled all over the planet and learned how to live there.
Mhm.
This is an awesome power that we have. And everything that we use today, we put take it for granted, but somebody that came out of somebody's head.
Yeah, it definitely did. That's how I see books. Like every time I
Yeah,
pick up a book, it's like this somebody else's mind.
that's somebody else's mind. Writing, that's a powerful technology.
Mhm.
That's basically
Mhm.
what it is, a technology. Counting, learning how to count, the paint on your
Mhm.
walls. We take that for granted, but somebody did that. Even these houses, that's
Yeah.
why I said we've been here a long time. There was a time we didn't live in houses like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Literally.
Mhm.
That's wild, ain't
Mhm.
it? But this is
Yeah,
where
there
we
was a
at.
time
So
we
when we're dealing with the
Mhm.
breatharian knowledge now, I even have to break that myth that we was one time walking around and all the whole planet was breatharian. We can't say that due to our body makeup.
Mhm.
I hope I said that right. Or starvation wouldn't be here. Yes, you could starve to death not getting food.
Yeah.
So that's why you must develop yourself and understand what this development is. You'll be
Mhm.
able to go longer periods of time without no food, then
Mhm.
eventually to none at all. But that
Mhm.
takes work.
Mhm. Absolutely. There are a lot of
We,
people that would say like, but if you breatharian, you stop, you don't stop, you don't do this, this don't happen. I said, as long as you believe it, it happens. It's in your belief. You
now say
believe
that
in
again. They say
lifestyle.
stuff still happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, see that's psychosis again.
Mhm.
Well, of course, but you deal with things differently because you grew.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
hope I said this right. Like
Mhm.
for instance, one woman said, "I guess you don't have to take showers because you don't eat." But I'm sitting there standing barefoot in some dirt. I said, "Don't you see my feet standing in this dirt? What you think this is?"
You're eating. Your feet are eating. Yeah.
Ah, ah, this is where we at. We got to break these belief systems. They're crazy. Or
Yeah,
what
I
people
know.
think how things supposed to be. You're
Uh-uh.
working with it all the time.
You have to use your brain. You really have
This is
to.
what we got it for.
Yes, you have to use it like, oh, you don't eat, you don't shower. Like I don't scrub. I
Right.
never scrub because I don't feel the need to scrub, but I do shower. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
yeah, I know. It's all these beliefs that will trap you. I always call them like a rabbit hole. You get it out of from one rabbit hole into another one. And everything
Into
is
another
rabbit hole. It's so many different rabbit hole, Elitom. It's just like don't stay in it. I tell people just
Yeah,
don't go and check out, come out, go in another one, check out, come out. But people would
that's
like to
all
stay.
people are doing. And I
Yeah.
think I put a post on social media not too long ago about even this new age of diet changes we're in.
Hmm.
And, and how even though a person is getting it for health, they're using it as a weapon to make us see like they're better than somebody else. Oh,
Mm,
that's a big one. So we
wow.
made that into a new religion. Look at
Mm,
me. Look what I can do. And it's really sad.
I know.
A person
Know.
got trapped in another illusion.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen it. Even the breath. They
Yeah.
complicated. Now you have to breathe this way, and then you have to do this.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
This, this is really wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we take something and then we run with it. What would your
Oh man.
advice be for someone that constantly just want to seek the veterinarian journey and say like, okay, I want to get there. I'm not there yet. I want to get there. Some people that I've got that questions all the time.
Hmm. All the
And
time.
yeah, and I don't even understand the question, to be honest. I just see it as a
Well,
frustration.
being like I said, everything we got now we take it for granted, but it was created somewhere along the way on human development. Even
Hmm.
reading and writing, even though it goes back thousands of years, there was just a time recently
Hmm.
where most of the world couldn't even read and write.
Yeah.
That was just recently.
Hmm. Hmm.
But anyway, something
Hmm.
that simple. But now what was my thought again? Oh, right now, it's hard when you're growing up in this situation now, and we got this mind of instant gratification.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
that's in us because we had an ancestor. It just made sense to get something that was easier to get your hands on for
Hmm.
survival.
Hmm.
So that's still in us, that feature. That's why it is easier to just grab the physical food right there.
Hmm.
It's easier to get a hold of instead of doing some other type of work. So
Yeah.
that's how people thinking. Or it'll seem like your body feels lazy. It can't get up and do these things because your body's trying to conserve energy. You had
Hmm.
an ancestor saying, man, if I use all this energy to do this, because it takes energy to do everything.
Hmm.
So I might
Hmm.
as well I just ate that big meal, let me go sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still in people now. But that's part of our evolution to know these things. But
Mm.
again, when we use this word energy cultivation, see, growth and cultivation is two different things.
Hmm.
We can easily take a seed and plant it, and the seed can take care of itself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or the seed, if it's in the right place, it'll take care of itself and it will grow.
Yeah.
But cultivation is a whole different ball game because you are actually caring about that seed's development.
Mm.
Development.
Mm.
You're pulling the weeds from it. You're checking it all the time. You want it. You got interest in it. So
Wow.
when a person's growing themselves, this is why we bring it up cultivation. You just ain't going on autopilot and don't do nothing.
Hmm.
That's number one. You
Hmm.
got work to do.
Yeah.
You got to really develop this vessel.
That's what they
In
start.
other words, they say energy is in the body, but you want to put your body in the energy.
I like that. Yeah.
And even though that sounds philosophy, now I ain't tooting my own horn. I've been on this journey for over 20 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, that got some merit in it.
Hmm.
You've been working on the energy, and the energy not only is coming from my hands, it's burning from my skin. But I
Hmm.
put the work in for it to be like that. If a
Mm.
person will understand, if you stay in the game long enough, it'll be the same way. Everybody ain't got it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody got levels of energy, but how long and how much work you've been putting in it, that's what you're going to get out of
Yeah. Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. That's a cultivation. Absolutely.
That's cultivation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And it just don't happen overnight, just like a bodybuilder.
yeah.
He can
Yeah.
go to
But
the gym
hey,
one week and
yeah.
come out competing.
Yeah. No, people want that instant. They ask me.
Instant gratification.
Hmm.
And like we said, it's in everybody. The brain is wired that way.
Hmm.
So this is why
Absolutely.
this takes a lot of work to do.
Hmm. Yeah.
It
I've heard
really,
the most ridiculous thing I've heard is, give me your juice to fix me.
yeah. Or some lady that got a eating disorder. I just seen on this one video where, how should you say, I'm feeling bad now, but as soon as I eat something, I feel better.
Hmm.
So instead of trying to sit through that, because people got different mental things too, even for a person to weigh 150 kilos or 300 pounds,
Hmm.
that's a lot of work that person put into that. But that's a mindset again.
Yeah.
So
It's
everybody
work.
dealing with these levels and degrees. But again, I was listening to
Hmm.
the addiction
Hmm.
on how it went to that extreme. But that instant gratification again made her feel better by her eating something. But then after a period of time, it started feeling bad again. Then you start making this promise: I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop doing this. And then you find yourself in that same cycle all over again.
Yeah. It's trapped.
Uh-oh. And
Wow.
that's why we was talking about people beating up on themselves on this journey. That's what that is, the same thing.
It is the same thing because they do beat on themselves. It's just the mind, that is creating that whole thing. Like I used to
The,
watch. program, my 600-pound life.
Yeah,
I used to just watch that, and some people would say like, "You have some fetish for fat people," but no, I'm looking for the mind. You
the
know,
mind.
yeah, the mind. How did you put all this work to get this big? It
Yeah,
requires work. You have to think about
work.
it, you have to prepare it, you have to cook it, you have to go and get it, you have to eat it, you have to digest it. It's a lot of work. But
A
when
lot
someone
of
comes
work.
to me and say, "How do I lose weight?" I tell them work out. And then
Work.
they just stay away from me. What do you
That's
mean?
why the definition of energy is the ability to do work.
Mm,
That's the
it is.
definition.
Yeah.
So no matter where you take it, it's going to take some work.
Mhm.
That's why we started out by talking about the spiritual psychosis, because that again is giving a person this past that they ain't got work to do to transform themselves. All I got to do is believe hard enough.
No.
But you're in that condition in the first place because it took a lot of work to get there.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Even to think negative like that, can you imagine? I
Mhm.
met one person that was so negative, but it just didn't happen overnight. It happened from a little child.
Mm.
Here it is, 5 decades later. It's so big of an energy, but they
Mm.
put a lot of work to get like that. So it's going to take a lot of work to try to reverse it or
Exactly.
discard some of that energy.
Exactly. Logic,
Oh man,
right? That's logic to me. To me, that's logic because it takes work. When someone wants to lose weight, you have to work out. There's no
you
pill
have to
that
work
just
out.
melt the whole fat. You have to
And
you have
if
to
you
do
want to
it.
see this energy grow in the body, like we were saying, you got to get a energy cultivation routine, and it
Mhm.
has to be in your mind to basically charge up just like you charging your cell phone. If you
Mhm.
want to use the cell phone and you got a lot of work coming up, you want to make sure it's good and charged. It's the
Mhm.
same way energetically. When a
Absolutely.
person who eats food gets hungry and lose energy, they go get food, a fuel source
Mhm.
to make that happen. But once a person make that transition, they
Mhm.
go meditate or relax the body so it can fuel up.
Mm.
There's two different ways they do it.
Yeah.
One charges up by sort of like your cell phone plugging up in the wall, getting that
Mhm.
electricity,
Mhm.
or you got to fill it up with something,
Yeah.
which both are, one of the same,
Absolutely.
but those are the different methods again.
I don't think it's anything wrong with getting fuel. Like every car has a fuel, right? But you don't just put diesel in the gas tank, right?
Right.
Is is what energy? Like so, some people when they eat something to get energy, right?
Hmm.
They may get that little energy that they're looking for, but then they will have to deal with the consequences because of they didn't think of what fuel that went
Oh,
in there,
yeah. Because
right?
your body's going to process it. Anything
Exactly.
you're doing, that's the way your body's going to process it. And it
Exactly.
takes a lot of energy just to digest the food.
Mhm.
So that's why in the
Mhm.
long run, you do have more energy going with this other fuel source, sort of like a nuclear power plant.
Mhm.
That's a fuel source that can light the lights in your house
Mhm.
using nuclear energy.
Absolutely.
However, for most cities, their power plants have the coal, burning the oil, burning biomass. That lights the light in the house also, but it causes a lot of carbon uh, emissions going into the atmosphere. You
Mhm.
got to clean it up afterwards. It takes
Yeah.
a whole other technique. But
Exactly.
this is what we're dealing with on a solar breathing journey. You're going from a chemical mechanical level.
Mhm.
Mechanical means you chew the food, that's mechanics.
Mhm. Mhm.
Chemical level, you're bringing up enzymes to break down the food, all of
Mhm.
the stuff, to an atomic level.
Yeah.
So that's when we know your cells in your body got the mitochondria. That's the
Mhm.
engine of the cell. It's feeding off of ATP from the atmosphere. You're breaking up blockages inside. You got a
Mhm.
good blood flow taking place. That nourishes the body. It's
Yes.
just a bio machine, but it depends how you're going to use it.
Mhm. Mhm.
One
Ab-
gives off a lot of waste, one gives off no waste. All
Mhm.
of this stuff is taking place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the best way to explain it, really. Absolutely. It's like when I say like sometimes when you drink juices, I tell people like don't aim for to get full here. Did it
Hmm.
go into your streams? Leave it at that.
Hmm.
It's supposed to go
Right,
into your streams and then you're done. That's it.
right.
But once it
That's
hits the
it.
belly and you want to fill the belly and then now you're collecting something, then you have to deal with the results of
Oh,
whatever
absolutely.
it's the juice. Yeah.
And I'm glad we're bringing this up about the thoughts because everything you put in your body does affect the thoughts.
Mhm.
And that's just dealing with. Now, should we blame the food itself? Not really. Your body's always dealing under the laws of physics.
Mhm.
Gravity's always, we're always being pulled towards the earth.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
hope this makes sense.
Mhm. It
But
makes sense.
through every breath and how long it's working, that force is working on the body, that changes the thought process.
Mhm.
That's
Abs
why when you go into meditation, pretty soon your breath start changing.
Mhm.
Your nostrils on how it's coming through start changing. The
Mhm.
breath start dropping on its own without you even trying. But you're
Yeah.
standing through that gravitational force, and your thoughts start changing. That's how we get energy.
Yes. Yes. That's when you get into right breathing. Yes. I always say that because it is what you're eating that makes you think differently, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
people try to make sense of like, oh, you should eat this. And I always tell them like, you are speaking this way because of you ate that. That's what's in you. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
right? So my sister, she eats normal regular food, but
Mm-hmm.
she always feel like, "Oh, you don't eat. You're gonna die. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that." I'm like, I'm still standing here. I have more energy than anyone in this house. Everybody is tired when they eat, and she started to think, why? Why does she have so much energy? You know, she started to think. But then I was telling her, you will never understand unless you actually empty of that what you have inside of you, because
Oh
that's
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And that goes back to those habits again. And these habits, just as it's something that's invisible, it
Mhm.
has its own energy channel going through the body. That's why it seems so hard to pull up.
Mhm. Mhm.
It has its own energy channel and it's self fulfilling itself. It feeding
Yeah.
itself.
Wow.
So in a way, you are like a zombie in a way.
Mm.
Till that habit get removed,
Yeah.
which has its own energy channel, you have to redirect it. I hope
Yeah.
this makes sense.
Yeah. It
But
makes
if
sense.
it don't, it's still in the vessel and it's going to keep coming out. That's why
Yeah.
people who get on this journey fail time and time again, and they're in this cycle because they don't
Mm.
understand that they are actually dealing with a habit that has its own energy channel going through the body.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's carrying it out. The program is there.
Yeah. It's everything is information. It's
Mm-hmm.
like saying like I will intake this information and I want to act different way. No, you will just act that different information, you act on it. So it's like knowing
Mm-hmm.
like what kind of information that comes inside of you in order for you to know.
Information.
Yeah, it is information. Food is information, things that you see is information, what you hear is information, all of that it's shaping your outcome of how you live
Shaping
really.
the outcome.
Yeah.
This is
So
the way it is.
yeah.
And not to take it lightly, trying to change a negative habit
Hmm.
is sort of like a person is trying to remove a tree by its roots,
Mm,
pulling it up by themselves. That's a big job, in other words.
it is.
But developing a new habit that's going to be positive for you is sort of like you're cultivating a plant so it can grow nice and strong.
Yeah.
And to cultivate something does take a lot of work. Those
Yeah.
who ever planted a garden before really did all the work from start to finish.
Hmm.
Just to tool up the soil is
Hmm.
a lot of work.
Yeah. But you have to do it.
Tooling up the soil. That's
Yeah.
the main bulk of the work.
Yeah. It is.
Clearing out the rocks,
Yeah.
getting the space together. So that's why we use that word energy cultivation.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And you can, there's no other way but the work.
The
There's
work.
no other way but the work. Yeah. There's no this kind of like a pill that will fix you. There's nothing that will take you to what do you even want to do in a breathanarian? There's no way to go to oh, now I'm breathanarian. People just want to be like,
Right.
oh, I'm breathanarian. What is that? What even
Well,
is
this instant gratification again is sort of like the lights in your house.
yeah.
Um, when you go turn the lights on, especially if you paid your bill, you expect the light to come on. And the average person, that's all that they know.
Yeah.
However, um, there's a lot of people behind that making that light work to be available for when you get ready to turn it on.
Mm. Wow.
At your plant, there's a lot taking place right now,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
people don't even realize that part of it.
Mhm.
So it's the
Yeah.
same way with the energy, but we just expect the light to turn on and that's it,
Yeah.
you know. But knowing that there's people working on that light 24/7 for whether if you use it or not, it's
Mhm.
available.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. Yeah, there's no other way but that.
No other way.
No,
Or
there's
the
not.
lights won't be there.
Yeah, there's
That's
no.
why some people view as the if something was to happen in society, they
Mhm.
wouldn't even know how much work it takes to keep the infrastructure going.
Mm, wow.
Can't
Yeah,
even maintain it, don't know it, but there's people who's doing that.
yeah, absolutely. But you have a whole lifetime to do this.
Hmm.
Nothing else but that.
Nothing else but that. That's your
Yeah,
main number one job,
yeah.
working with these
And
energies.
exactly. And it should be, there's no like rush. You're not going to no destination. There's no, end. It's just a
Oh yeah.
continuation, and you developing yourself. I always say, like, our body, because of the habits that we are, conditioned to do. That's why we
Hmm.
decay. That's why we are becoming the way we become. That's why we think the way we think because of we are conditioned that way. But if you
Oh
change
yeah.
the habit and learn how to just like, cultivate your energy throughout your whole life and just like develop, you can even shape shift. You can really
Right.
shape shift. Yeah, I believe that. Like you say, culture change your structure. The language you speak, change your structure. When you change your whole habit, you become like a completely different person.
Oh yeah, that is shape shifting. Absolutely. The
Mm-hmm.
mass is going to follow the new habits you taking it through.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Wow.
that's all we're saying. See how we brought it down to earth? We didn't have to go that you're going to turn into a dog or you're going
No.
to turn into a butterfly.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, we. Or you have to do this, and you have to do that, and this is what it.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
terrible. It goes back to that psychosis again.
Yeah. No, the
But we
journey.
have to break that. Or even when you talk about living in nature, it
Hmm.
sounds good, but would you be able to really make it and put things up? Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm on an island, but people don't understand how much work we did to build a shelter for me to stay and all
Hmm.
this other stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of work behind that and to maintain it.
Hmm.
So I've been living
And
this
maintain.
lifestyle for a while. Some people can't even make it a day out in the wilderness by themselves. They
Wow.
know it.
Yeah. Wow. It's like you said, it's maintaining it again, right? First you put into the work, to build it.
Hmm.
And then you have to have that constant motivation to do that. There's an
And then we
energy.
always want to say nature loves us. Nature this. There's
Yeah.
mosquitoes out there. There's
Yeah.
uh, uh, spiders. There's snakes, poisonous snakes. A dog got bit by a snake out there. I'm living in all of that.
Wow.
People
I've
ain't
seen
even
you
thinking
being got
about
bit
those
by
levels.
ants. I've seen
There's
you.
crocodiles out there. I got bit by ants.
I remember that one. Oh my
It's
God.
just that real.
Yeah, it is real. But it's
Oh
also
man, work
also.
to do. And we as humanity, we almost became extinct a couple times if you really look at the whole human history. We ain't all that. We had to work.
Uh, I think people maybe think in nature is just trees and bushes, and they're just standing there. But the snake is
Spiritual
there.
psychosis again.
Yeah,
Until they get a taste of their own medicine to get their butt out there and they're gonna see how much they miss society.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but it's also energy, right? Again, it's energy. If you go in the wilderness and you don't expect snakes and ants and all these spiders and whatever that's in the wilderness, right? If you don't expect it and you expect just the trees and it's beautiful, you get bit.
Yeah.
You get bit.
And even the fruits and vegetables we eat now, somebody had to figure that out.
Yes. Yes, I,
There's
I
more
wonder that
poisonous
sometimes,
plants out there than the ones that serious. Somebody figured that out.
Yeah, and
In other
somebody ate the
words,
other ones.
don't eat that because you see what happened to Johnny.
Somebody had to try it.
Somebody, this is where we at. So
Yeah.
nature's beautiful, but you show better respect it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
got to go know some things.
Mhm.
And the more you know, the more knowledge you have. The old saying goes, the more knowledge you have, the less you can have on your back.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely.
In other words,
I
the
think
less
I
you got
heard
to care.
some guru once say that he was bit by a snake, but he wasn't poisoned.
And he wasn't poisoned.
Yeah, it was something like he didn't connect the mind with the poison, and it didn't
Oh,
poison him.
people just talking. That's spiritual psychosis again. We go recreate that story. It'll be a whole different ball game. He's so special. He didn't connect the mind. No, if that goes into your bloodstream, don't fall for the story. See, the breadth and knowledge do make you smarter. When I say when you still studying biology and chemistry, start looking for things like they really are. This is
Mhm,
reality.
mhm,
When
mhm.
people tell these stories, you ain't got to go for it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You'd
Yeah.
be surprised. I can tell you some things people told me. I just had to look at them and say, uh.
Don't try that.
Not
No.
today.
Yeah,
It doesn't work like that.
yeah. I believe you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But this is
But
where
it
we
it
at
makes you
again. And I
smarter.
feel sorry for the people who listen to certain teachers who
Mhm.
teach that way. That's what's messing everything up.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But again, everybody wants somebody to come and save them, you know? It's like, "Save
Absolutely.
me." And it's nobody here to save you, and you're not here to save anyone either. In my opinion, I don't think I'm here to save anyone. It's like saving myself from myself, being in my authentic self, like that will just reflect in other people, you take whatever you see, whatever that
Right.
resonates, and that's it. That's
Absolutely. Oh
Yeah,
man, this is where we at again. To
yeah.
break that spiritual psychosis.
Hmm. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people that get into that psychosis very deep, that neglect everything. Like, you don't even exist. I don't exist. Nothing exists. There's no reason to do this. You know, when people dive into the non-duality, that used to take me out. That used
Oh
to take
man.
me out. It's a
Life
level of
ain't gonna stop
understanding.
because you thinking like that. And like I said, sometimes people will wake up and they could
Hmm.
be somewhere else if they wasn't stuck in that psychosis. But
Exactly.
there's reasons for that also. In other
Yeah.
words, you got work to do, and your work would have took you way over here. Like I
Hmm.
said, my energy is booming off my body because there was work, more work, consistency, consistency, and it's gonna keep going on. I was just thinking a couple of days ago,
Hmm.
man, another decade from now, I should really be whoop whoop. It is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else supposed to happen?
Yeah.
But it
Absolutely.
was the work behind it.
Hmm. Hmm. I can
Hmm.
see you doing this in another decade. It's all the work. It's all the work. If anything, really, Elitom, I see you, and I see you putting into the work.
To
You know,
work.
yeah. That's all I see with you is like work, and
Development,
that's what
development, development.
exactly.
Cultivation, cultivation, cultivation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I said, this ain't no fly by night thing. That'll show sooner or later.
Yeah,
That person didn't
absolutely,
do the work, so they'll
absolutely.
disappear.
But how fun would that be if you could just transform and you just there? That wouldn't be fun, right? The fun is in the journey. The fun is in the findings.
Well, again, this is how people was taught. This
Hmm.
is how people was taught. Somebody was teaching that. They fell for it, not understanding that when the Renaissance went down, where a lot of people was authors in Europe was writing books
Hmm.
about these mythical lands and what they saw. They wanted to sell their book,
Wow.
but they're gonna tell you some real big stories.
Yeah.
I hope this makes sense. And they told you places that in that lifetime a person never would travel to.
Hmm.
The average person couldn't travel to India. The average person couldn't go to the Himalayas. The average person couldn't go to Tibet.
Hmm.
But now, since we're at that age where you can, if you wanted to,
Hmm.
and you go there, you ain't gonna see what those books were saying.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
didn't expect you to travel there. Now we're using Antarctica as a backup.
Yeah. I, it's not there, huh?
But it's not there. But I be telling people you could travel there if you wanted to, but they don't want to because it'll break their reality.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but everything is in the book. That's why you shouldn't be believing in the books. You know, it's
You
just
got to work with. See, when you work with this, it'll break beliefs.
yeah. It really does. It really does because
It's just
now
that real.
you're taking on someone else believes, and then you go along
Hmm.
with that. It doesn't even make sense. Like, take
And
another
again, like what we
person and
said
then
earlier, I'm glad. I'm so glad that I'm well traveled, that I've been to these places.
hmm.
So when a person start trying to start that, and I've been there,
Hmm.
I said, no, that's not what's happening there. Now, let me tell you what's happening because they didn't been there. They wrote
Yeah.
something out of a book.
Hmm.
No, I put time and energy in. And
Yeah.
believe me, I look for places that got high energy. That's
Yeah.
my thing.
It's not like what it says in the book. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm so happy that you're in Africa.
Oh
Really.
yeah.
I am so happy because it's so much, a lot of people say like Africa is this and Africa is dangerous, that Africa is it's poor, Africa is this. It's like so many things that's been said. And
Oh man.
it's like even I have been scared of it and I'm African.
And
You know?
right now, I'm glad I'm making this journey, going through it too,
Mhm.
country to country, because it broke all the stereotypes, all the myths, all the fear. This is like my own backyard now. Before it wasn't. It was
Wow.
the mystery, and you hear all these stories and all
Mhm.
that, like you were just saying.
Mhm.
But once you get in there and you meet people, all of that fear does just like this.
Yeah. Some
And then
people
dealing with this message again. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've been taken off here big time.
Wow. Yeah, some people
Big
were asking
time.
like ridiculous questions like, do they have cars in Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you avoid the lions in the street? There is no lions in the street.
Oh my They think there's thieves everywhere and people who steal from
Oh man,
like
it's
it's
terrible.
everywhere. Yeah, it's
It's
everywhere.
terrible on that stereotype. And
Wow.
energetically, we might as well say it.
Mhm,
This is a tropical place. Why wouldn't
mhm.
it be beautiful?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole
Who
continent.
put that in our mind that hate a tropical place?
Mm, yeah.
That's
And it's a whole
crazy.
continent.
And make a place to get below zero like that's heaven. That
Mm,
don't even make sense. That was switch.
mm. Wow.
Oh man, look at that behind me. That's just right in somebody's backyard.
Yeah, I know.
Banana tree.
Come up
And
to
then this is
Uganda.
an avocado.
You
It's
see?
right. How people supposed to be starving? Where is that? Look at that avocado.
Wow.
And that's just right in somebody's yard. Which
You see?
is see, that's the sad thing about the Western mind. Everybody would act like eating fruit is something big.
Yeah.
This is what people do here. They've been doing it.
Yeah, I know. Like if the people I meet here now that came from Africa, they all go on pharmaceuticals. They're sick now because of they don't have those natural resources there. They could just go in their backyard and grab something and
Yeah.
walk barefoot. You will see people walking barefoot everywhere in Africa, and it's a normal thing.
And
It's
that's
not,
normal. And we act
yeah,
like
they
it's a
don't see
big
it as
thing. How long
luxury.
you been going now? How
Yeah,
long have you ate bananas?
yeah.
Like it's a big thing.
Wow. But I think also we are conditioned to think that processed food, like you in Africa right now, there are some people in Africa that think like the Western, has everything, the
Oh
processed
yeah.
food and this and that.
And
And
you see it
they
go
don't
vice
know that that's
versa.
garbage.
Conditioning again. But
Yeah.
once you get this holistic lifestyle, so
Hmm.
that's one thing that I'm glad too that I was on this journey before I came to Africa.
Hmm.
See, I wouldn't be able to see like this. See, I
Yeah.
could see differently, so I could take advantage of it.
Hmm.
Going back to the mind again. If your
Hmm.
mind got that Western and that's all it sees, it'll see something totally different here
Hmm.
compared to what you could be experiencing.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
What you mean? Different mindset, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I went to
And
Africa.
here I'm looking at this as paradise,
Hmm.
but that's how my mind is set. That's
Yeah.
how it
Right.
sees.
Right. Because when I went to Africa, I was scared. That was like long time ago. But I was really
Yeah.
scared. Now I know it's paradise.
Oh
Now
yeah.
my mind is paradise.
Oh man, this is good.
Wow.
Having the time of my life.
I love that. I love that. One last question, Elitom, before we end. When it comes to the people, in Africa and in different countries that you travel to, when you tell them about your path, what are the reaction? Is it different between the African people, the Indian or the Western, here? Is it any different?
Oh,
The
actually,
reaction?
when I sit down here and we start talking about the solar breatharian knowledge,
Mhm.
it's like their mind can relate to it.
Okay.
It can relate to it
Mm.
right off the rip because we start talking about the sun and this and that. The main thing over here, people's mind is geared. The only thing they see in the West is a dollar sign.
Mm. Yeah.
But everything else with a holistic lifestyle, that's not even nothing to brag about.
Okay.
But people doing that, what is that? That's us who gave it a big name, like
Mm.
it's something to really seek, like it's big. But
Yeah.
like we said, you start explaining the sun, start explaining energy. And of course, even the person first hear it, they listen, and it's not a big argument compared to the Western mind.
Okay. So that they
Whole
more
different
receptive.
ball game. Because
Yeah.
keep in mind, we was taught that like, 3 meals a day and this and that. And just like anything, you got the obesity problem taking place in the West, but
Mhm.
that came from also, you got more money, you making more money, you're going to have a lot more food. You
Mhm.
got a lot more access to resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I just
So that's
imagine.
understandable.
Yeah. I really just imagine that people in Africa will take it, they will be more receptive to the message than people in the Western. It's always like that argument, like, but how?
Well, now also keep in mind too that this is also like coming into a time machine. So,
Mm,
give you an example. Back in the 60s and early 70s over in America, they
mhm,
had those big revivals, with these miracle healers and, in the church. They still do it, but not like back then.
mhm.
Now we got cameras and stuff. We found out that a lot of them was hoax and all this other stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
miracles. So now America went through that phase. So now Africa's going through it. You got these
Mhm.
preachers saying they're Jesus, they're doing these miracle healers and all of this. So it's going through
Mm,
that same phase. And I'm just looking at it like, wow.
yeah,
So it
right.
is behind on that. It's like,
Mhm.
well, somebody already been through something that somebody else is going through it now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you
So
don't
that
even
mind
that
still
condition.
that
No.
mind still got the superstition in it and
Mhm.
miracle healers and all of this other stuff. So that's taking place
Wow.
big time. But when
Wow.
I start explaining it to them, that's why even in the West, I speak the solar breath theory knowledge on a scientific level.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
do it like that for a reason to take off the spiritual psychosis.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
human beings are superstitious also, if they realize it at different levels and degrees.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this is. I'm coming to Uganda. I actually
Oh
got.
yeah, you should. This,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Now I've decided. Really, I've decided. I talked to my friend in Uganda, and I'm buying the land there. So I just I love the soil. There's something
Oh
about the
yeah,
soil there. You
the
know?
soil, the greenery, the
Yeah.
the Nile River is here. All of this stuff. Near
Yeah.
the equator, they really
Absolutely.
don't have a summertime or wintertime. The weather's always good. What else
Yeah.
can you ask for?
Yeah. Right. Right. The people are
People
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are kind.
Oh man, this
Everybody
is
speaks
good.
English there, right? Or most people
What's
speak.
that?
Most people speak English in Uganda, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And how should I say this? We just had that breath there and retreat here, so the message is already here.
wow, I love that. I love that so much. Thank you for bringing it out there.
The
You know,
message is here, so that's
yeah,
changing the vibration right there. It's
that's
gonna keep growing.
that's beautiful. I think they're easier to transform. I think they are used to doing the work when it comes to doing work.
Oh
Compared
yeah,
to here, we are more like spoiled. While out there, if you just tell them like, hey, you have your food. This is the sun, the air. That's your true
oh
nourishment.
yeah. Well, this is the way I see it too. There's some places it ain't so much how do I get a message to the people.
Hmm.
It really deals with how easy it is for me to work the message on myself.
Mm,
So if
okay.
I'm at a place where I'm benefiting for myself energetically on the environment,
Hmm.
that's what spreads the message.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
The people I could care less on that level because it don't matter if everybody keep doing their same habits. I ain't gonna quit doing what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. As long as the environment allows you to be you, I think you can
Right.
impact people that way. You can really do
Mm-hmm.
that because it's not about
Absolutely.
and telling people. And people will come and question you, and then
Right.
that's when you can tell them. Yeah, I
That's
love.
one thing I appreciated India for. At least it got a culture where you could be outside meditating and everybody know what you're doing.
Mm,
Some
yeah.
places you in the West, everybody's looking like you to go call the police. What are they doing?
They'll call
Yeah,
the police. They call the police for meditation too. Some
right.
outside the
They've
bar.
been there for hours.
Yeah.
They look suspicious.
Wow. Yeah. How the mind works, right? You're not doing
Yeah,
anything. You just still, but it's still. Yeah, this
right.
person is sitting in this park for too long.
And when I first started this journey just for meditating and doing my Tai Chi, the whole family thought I was crazy. And all I'm
Mm,
doing is exercising energetically. Now they don't say nothing because the message got stronger. But this is
yeah.
how it was.
Yeah.
compared to when you're in a culture where everybody knows what that is. So the place where you can work with your energy uh, without it being hindered by
Mhm.
people,
Yeah.
that's
I
what
love
spirits
that.
the message,
Yeah. With my
compared to dealing
family,
with just straight ignorance.
yeah, absolutely. With my family right now, they know what I do and they know I'm just who I am. But when it comes to the meditation, by the time I just sit in lotus position and go this way, I'm Buddhist. They're like, oh my gosh, she got out of the religion. Now the Islam, my family, Islam, right? So
Right,
then I would just think like, okay, she's Buddhist. She's this. If I do this, I'm Buddhist,
right.
right? So now I have to find a different way to meditate when they see me. I can say,
Ah,
oh, I do this way, so some other type of way. But I know exactly what you mean.
oh yeah. And like we said, this is one of the best journeys you can take because it gets its credibility over time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody around me, then they're breaking down more and more. They're falling off, and they see you still going.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
see you still going.
Yeah.
So the message speaks for itself. So, like we said earlier, a person's habits and beliefs will destroy them. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what destroyed them was their habits and beliefs. So
Mm-hmm.
having an argument here, wasting your energy, you ain't got to. You just
Mm-hmm.
keep doing your journey.
Absolutely.
Everybody else, their own mind and take care of itself.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, otherwise
Spiritual
it's just
psychosis,
crazy.
though, that's all it is.
Yeah,
Spiritual psychosis.
yeah. And when some people really believe in other people, you know what they say, that's when you become like crazy, mental, or whatever people say when you take it to heart, when you worry about what other people really believe,
Oh
that's
yeah,
when it goes a different turn.
that's another big one. See, there was a guy in India, for instance. He was on a journey. He jumped off because everybody else was expecting him to do the work. Putting it all on him instead
Mm-hmm,
of they doing it. See, that's one trap I always try to stay out of. I'm not
mm-hmm,
here to put a show on for you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right?
You go get the message and you go get busy.
Yeah. It's I mean, if I'm going somewhere, for example, if I came to one of your retreats or something like that, right?
Mhm.
My mindset is set on what can I extract from that conversation,
Right.
you know?
What can I expect from it?
Yeah. And what can I extract from what you just said, right? I can't take everything from you and then make it
Right.
mine. I can't put the responsibility on you, but I had to think like, okay, is it anything that resonated with me? Can I apply that to my life?
This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
And
how
when
I
I take people through a retreat, I'm taking them into an experience where
Mhm.
they can work with their own energy. You're
Yeah.
getting the tools, you're getting it equipped.
Mhm.
You with other people working, and watching it grow. And that's
Yeah.
usually what happens. Everybody come out with something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody.
Yeah. That's what I
We
love about.
growing something. We working.
Yeah.
You
I love
coming to work.
I love that. Yeah, people don't really like the work, but they want the results.
What the results and don't put in the work. That's a big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, the
Oh, there's so
result of
much
not
out of
putting.
this. Want
Yeah.
the work, want the results, but don't want to put in the work.
Yeah. And when you don't put in the work, you will get a different result.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that
Exactly.
result, right? So it's either way, you either go this way or that way, but I don't really think anything is, just like this.
No,
Nothing. Nothing hockey puck.
nothing.
You have to
We're
put the
working.
work in. Yeah, and you really need
Bringing
to
on that
enjoy the work.
responsibility.
Yeah, you really need to enjoy the work. I love how you do it, You just go and work on your own body, lifting your weight and, just yeah, exactly. Just doing you. That's that's the best
Out there,
feeling. Yeah, I love it.
every day. Out there. You
I
doing
love
you.
yeah.
Hmm.
Do you the best you can, that's the message really.
And that's the message right there. It's a holistic lifestyle. Dealing
Mhm.
with the laws of physics.
Mhm. Mhm.
No spookiness behind it.
Yeah.
Allowing your energy to grow. It gets stronger, the vessel. And the stronger the vessel, uh, the more energy it has. The stronger
Yeah.
the vessel, the longer it could go without food.
Yeah.
It's a strong vessel. It's a health message.
Yeah. I think the cool thing is a mind, It really is the mind. Once
It's
you
the
get
mind.
focused, once you get focused on yourself, once you get
Hmm.
focused on the other thing, everything else is happening. When you put into that work, the food is
Hmm.
gonna fall off. It really will just fall
In the
off.
mind again.
Yeah, it
You're
was.
literally evolving.
Hmm. But
A
a lot of people
hybrid.
think that this is the journey of letting go of food. No, it's just the journey of actually just gain more awareness. So the food part is just gonna be like nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh man, this is good.
the food is not there. You know, it's not there. It's just it's another. Yeah, it's an addiction. Because when someone is addicted to alcohol or whatever, they really think they can, or nicotine, they really think they can live without it. They can do things without it. You know? Are you frozen now, Elitom? I guess so. I guess Elitom is frozen, so it was time to end anyway. But anyway, much love to you guys. Let's see how we end this thing.